The Land Settlement Association. 10 estates and over 500 individual growers who are tenants of the Minister of Agriculture. The L.S.A. operates for the Ministry the largest cooperative organization growing and marketing fresh salad crops in Great Britain. It's managed by an executive committee appointed by the Minister and includes 4 grower members. Each holding is complete with a dwelling house and store. The L.S.A. backs the grower and his family in every possible way. High-class produce from these estates reaches the housewife through leading supermarkets, chain stores and good-class greengrocers in the country. Here, the discerning shopper has the opportunity of selecting carefully graded lettuce, celery, tomatoes and other salad crops. However good the quality, prices must be fair, not only for the grower, but also for the housewife. And this is one of the primary aims of the L.S.A. organization. Whether it be at the supermarket or the village greengrocer, the reliability and quality of produce carrying the L.S.A. brand can be assured. Let's look at the beginning of the operation, which gives the British housewife this excellent service. The first essential, before the new season starts in the late autumn, is thorough planning. Decisions for each year's production program are made by the growers on the estates. They're provided with all the statistics from the previous year's cropping and marketing, and with information on market trends by the head office marketing organization. Everything is fully discussed by the Growers Committee and the estate manager. Once the broad outline of the estate's program has been agreed, individual programs are made up and bulk buying of seeds, fertilizers, etc. is put in hand. At the same time, provision must be made for the production of young plants by estate propagation departments. When the year's plans and budgets are fixed, they're converted into production. The estate manager is the link between head office and his growers. To ensure uniformity of produce and precision cropping, there's a central propagation department on each estate to provide the millions of young plants grown each year. With his propagation manager, the estate manager plans his production program, which must fit in with the growers' planting requirements for the coming season. Each holding has a dwelling house, which is improved as capital permits. Crop cultivations are carried out by the grower and his family, together with, in some cases, hired staff. Within the agreed cropping program, each grower decides what crop he'll grow and when. Tomatoes, lettuce and celery, both undercover and outdoors, are the principal crops grown. There's regular contact with the estate manager, who's always available to advise both on cultural and marketing matters. Successional cropping to provide regularity of supplies and income is, of course, very important. A second opinion is given by the estate manager, at Fen Drayton in this case, on when to plant according to soil conditions. The glasshouse has been cleared of tomatoes in the autumn and the soil sterilized, and it's now ready to be planted with lettuce. Glasshouse hygiene and soil sterilization are vital to make sure of a healthy and good quality crop. Some growers have their own equipment for sterilizing soil by steam, but if they wish to avoid the capital expenditure on such equipment, it can usually be hired from the estate machinery pool. Modern sterilization to clear the soil of harmful pests and fungal diseases has to be carried out by qualified personnel using highly sophisticated equipment. This is where outside contractors like Fison's come onto the scene, handling such chemicals as methyl bromide. While lettuce is the main autumn and winter glasshouse crop, To add variety and a little more spice to life, some growers use part of their glasshouse area during the summer and autumn for such crops as sweet peppers, which are readily marketed through the organization. This crop grows well in the older Dutch light glasshouse, which is no longer suitable for main crop tomato production. Aubergines, another oriental fruit, are also grown. They're attractive plants with colorful fruit, but more to the point, they make a good additional line in the market. Early winter and spring crops of celery under glass are popular with a number of growers, but they must be carefully protected against frost, which means that a reliable heating system is essential. The L.S.A. markets celery practically all the year round. The gold of chrysanthemums as cut flowers during the winter has its attraction, but they don't always provide gold for the grower's pocket. While these crops are being harvested by the grower in the autumn and winter, at the estate propagation department, seedlings are being raised. And here, modern techniques such as sodium lighting come into their own. This saves time and fuel compared with the older methods. Each year, several million lettuces are raised in peat blocks. The specially prepared Fenmere compost is fed into the block-making machine. A single pellet containing one lettuce seed is sown automatically into each block. And it takes only 3 operators to produce 12,000 sown blocks an hour. The sown blocks are packed in trays on pallets, ready for transporting to the growing room or glasshouse to germinate and grow on. The big advantage to the grower with plants raised in blocks is that they can be easily planted by hand or machine and don't suffer any check from the operation. At Foxash, the estate manager regularly checks with the glasshouse foreman to see that germination is satisfactory and that the program is being maintained. Automation and modern techniques are the keynote of L.S.A. propagation departments. Tomato seedlings, raised under lights, are mechanically potted with a machine, using the minimum number of operators. At the Newent estate, the machine is moved to the new growing rooms for this job. Each room holds 24,000 plants, which are potted and moved into their growing quarters by 4 operators in just one day. As the plants are potted, they're placed under strip lighting to grow on, and by using this method, 5 weeks are saved in the propagation period and a much better plant is produced. In the modern growing room, each batch of plants receives 12 hours lighting of 1,000 lumens per square foot per day. 12 hours on and 12 hours off. After 3 weeks in this controlled environment, the plants are ready for delivery to the grower for planting, or they're roomed out in one of the estate glasshouses. Millions of strong, sturdy tomato plants are produced from January to May each year, both for growers on the estates and for commercial tomato growers throughout the country. A large proportion of the lettuce, both for indoor and outdoor growing, is planted by machine. The majority of growers have their own, but for those who don't, the equipment can be hired from the estate machinery pool. Once the indoor lettuce crops have been cleared, the glasshouses are prepared for tomato planting. There are various methods of planting, and with the introduction of rot-proof string, the supports for the plant and the planting itself can be combined. This is a job for the grower and his family, which must be carried out quickly to ensure that the first-class plants supplied from the estate propagation department don't spoil. With watering again, systems are largely automatic, and this spaghetti tube system is popular. It ensures that each plant receives the correct amount of water and feed each day. Having cleared the bulk of the early tomato plants, by mid-March, the estate propagation department is busy growing the main batch of celery plants for outdoor planting. Filling the boxes with Levington compost is once again done automatically. A good supply of evenly filled boxes is maintained, ready for transplanting the seedlings. The women employed by the propagation department are highly skilled in handling seedlings. Working as a team, they even seem to enjoy the rather monotonous task of pricking out the millions of plants. After pricking out, the seedlings are returned to the glasshouses to grow on. On the grower's holding, the early planted tomato crop grows apace, and trimming and training is a weekly chore for the grower and his family throughout the season. Various methods of training are used. To obtain maximum use of glasshouse space, when the first 3 trusses of fruit are set, the plants are layered and taken up adjacent supports. To speed up the operation, twist ties are used for tying the layered plants. On some holdings, the hook system is favored. With this method, once it reaches the maximum workable height, the plant is dropped on its string. Even at the end of the season, there's more trimming and side shooting, ensuring the maximum yield. Fuel is a major expense in tomato production. Where early crops are grown, many growers have invested in a fully automatic boiler, which maintains blueprint growing temperatures. This one has a capacity of 2 million BTUs. The L.S.A. supply over 50% of the glasshouse lettuce grown in Britain. From November to April, on many holdings, 2 or sometimes 3 crops are produced under glass. Harvesting and packing into plastic bags is carried out on the majority of holdings by the grower's own labor. As each lettuce is cut, it's trimmed and cleaned. Since all the staff wear rubber gloves, L.S.A. lettuces are quite literally untouched by human hand. All first-grade lettuces are packed as cut. The doubtful-sized ones are put aside for weighing to ensure correct grading. When packed, they're ready for taking to the holding gate for collection by the estate packing station vehicle. Each estate maintains a machinery pool from which growers can hire on an hourly or daily basis. With or without operators, such capital equipment is only required occasionally on the holding. Heavy tractors, spraying equipment, and multi-road drills are all available. The provision of heavy rotavators with skilled drivers saves the grower time and money. Small hand machines are normally owned by the grower. The estate storekeeper is responsible for seeing that all stock items are available to meet growers' requirements, such as insecticides, fungicides, fertilizers, spare parts for machines, protective clothing, and almost anything the grower may need for his business. over 1,000 items are kept in stock, from aprons to watering cans. Whatever the weather, in April or early May, the outside celery crop has to be planted. The ground is first rotivated to provide a good tilt for easy planting. The plants which arrive from the propagation department are planted by hand. The earliest crops are given some protection from frost and wind by Dutch lights. The early planted tomatoes are now ripening, and the first pickings are being made. By good management during the previous 10 to 12 weeks, a superb crop has developed. To ease the picking operation and save labor, this grower has adapted golf trolleys for carrying the fruit, as it's picked from the pathways between the plants. As in most organizations, the L.S.A. growers benefit from each other's innovations. Most growers have small trailers which can be towed by their hand cultivating machines to carry produce from the fields or glass houses. The picked fruit is loaded onto a pallet on the trailer. This means that further mechanical handling can be used. Apart from speeding up the operation, it takes much of the heavy work out of the harvesting process. One man can complete the loading, whilst others can carry on harvesting. The fruit, now loaded, is taken to the roadside gate of the holding to await collection by the packhouse vehicle. Five days a week, the collection vehicles, either lorries or specially adapted tractors and trailers, accompanied by a forklift truck, pick up the grower produce from the gate of the holding. Fresh boxes and pallets are left for the next day's harvesting. In the busy early summer period, 3 such collections can be made each day. In early July, the outdoor celery crop, which has been regularly watered and fed, has reached maturity, and the grower and his staff start the job of cutting, cleaning, grading, and bagging the crop. Roots and outside leaves are trimmed off in the field, and the sticks are cut to the correct length. Any remaining soil is washed off with a high-pressure spray of clean water before the sticks are put into plastic bags and then graded by weight and packed. As far as grading is concerned, with their continual handling of celery, the women packers can judge with remarkable accuracy the weight of each stick. However, periodic checks are made in the field by actually weighing individual sticks of each grade. Each estate has its own well-equipped packing station, and when the produce arrives there, the manager checks it against the grower's consignment docket, and an identification tally is added before final inspection, grading, and packing. All the fruit is visually inspected and hand-graded for color and quality. Then the machines, some of the largest and most efficient in the country, automatically grade it for size. When the boxes are full, a check on the weight is made before they're finally closed. Each grower's consignment is graded separately, and it's only after grading and packing is completed that consignments are bulked together and sent to the markets. When all produce has been received, the packhouse manager can advise head office in London by telex of his proposed distribution to allocated wholesalers. Communication between estates and head office by telex is both quick and economical. The marketing manager at head office receives advice early in the morning from wholesale markets throughout the country on prices and sales situations. From this information, he advises the estates on where and what to send to obtain the best prices. From the information telex by the packhouse manager, he lets the wholesale markets know the quantities they can expect the following morning. As grading and packing is completed from late afternoon to early evening, the estate lorries are loaded with consignments for supermarket depots and the national wholesale markets. According to their destination, lorries leave the estate from evening to late at night, returning in the early hours of the following morning. The very first deliveries to be made are to supermarket depots, arriving between 8 and 9 o'clock in the evening, so that they can redistribute the produce to their various branches, ready for sale to the public next morning. By 4 o'clock in the morning, L.S.A. wholesale distributors have received their consignments in the national markets. At the new Covent Garden at 9 Elms in London, the market comes to life. The wholesaler puts on a good display of L.S.A. products, and buyers begin to arrive. And of course, there's plenty of discussion about prices and quantities. Deals are done and sales are made, and generally by 8 o'clock in the morning, all L.S.A. produce has been cleared. The wholesaler can then advise the L.S.A. head office of the prices made. The headquarters of the L.S.A. at Cromwell Road in London is the administrative centre from which overall control is exercised by the general manager. He's responsible to the executive committee for the success and well-being of the organisation. He keeps in close contact with the estate managers and administrative staff to ensure a unified and harmonious operation. Bulk buying of all requirements for the various estates is made by the central purchasing manager, who has a busy time coping with the needs of the 10 estates and obtaining for the growers the benefit of the best possible prices when buying packaging, fertilizers, pesticides and peat. An essential in all business organizations is an efficient accounting system. Head office collates all accounts and makes all the payments. But each estate is self-supporting in its sales accounting and is equipped with small but versatile computers, on which, for example, growers' credits are individually calculated. Each year, a few new growers are required to take over holdings made vacant by retirements or moves. After completing an application form, candidates for an L.S.A. holding are selected for interview. The first interview is held at the estate where the vacancy exists. Here, the candidate and his wife are seen by a committee composed of the estate manager, 2 growers, and a representative from the Ministry of Agriculture. Various qualifications are required, and apart, of course, from a keen desire to get established in their own business, applicants must have a minimum of 5 years full-time practical, horticultural, or agricultural experience. Up to 3 years full-time training at an agricultural college can count towards this total. Working capital is required, and a grower must provide at least a quarter of this. The balance can be borrowed through the L.S.A. All formalities are completed, and the successful candidate takes over a holding. Now, he and his wife can plan for the future. Each new grower has ample opportunity to improve his holding with new glasshouses and new techniques, to increase yields and to profit both himself and the association. An association which has been built up to benefit growers by cooperative use of advanced equipment, good loan facilities, and the collective marketing of top-quality salad crops. Now that he's become a member, he can grow with the L.S.A.